Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday Night Live podcast with myself, Captain Goodspeed or Joe, and my wonderful, amazing, fantastic, I've run out of superlatives, for my co-host, Mr. TIJ or Toby, and Nightbot. Never is Nightbot still going in my chats, by the way? Maybe he is. There he is. I thought I removed him as a moderator. But anyway, yeah, we're here tonight and it's probably going to be a bit of a shorter one. Not a lot has happened in the world of sport and game in the last week. So we're just going to have a quick chat about the World Final last night, which I know you watched as well, Toby. And Designated Survivor, a TV show that we've both watched. We'll give you a little sort of summary of maybe the general plot of season 1, and then if you guys want to check it out, you can. Don't want to go for too many major plot spoilers. So yeah, hopefully everybody is good and you've had a nice week. I know we've both had tiring days today because it's always awful going back after a bank holiday, especially when we've had weather like this. So good evening, Toby, how are you doing?
Very generous intro of all those superlatives there. I thought, what's he been doing? But thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. It's, I should say, a very nice evening, actually. It was a bit unpleasant earlier, about 4 or 5 o'clock down here. Anyway, it was tipping it down with rain, but it soon stopped, and very nice evening to have a little chat with you guys in the chat. So let's get the chat going. The podcast isn't on Thursday. The podcast is on Thursday next week, as we said in last week's video. So next week's podcast will be on Thursday, and then pretty much for 3 or 4 weeks it'll be Tuesday again. But Snooker, Designated Survivor. But as you guys know, we've had 10 episodes of it now. It never sticks to just that, does it, Joe?
No. I mean, the likelihood of us talking about these two, consecutively is probably very unlikely. We'll end up talking about something. But, yes, very nice to hear Portsmouth is back. Can we have an inside exclusive interview with TIJ? What was the thinking about bringing Portsmouth back? And obviously, are you happy to have it back on the channel?
Well, you know who advised me to bring it back. It was yourself.
I mean, you only have to watch the video to know that.
Exactly. But I've been thinking it a while. I've always had the save file, and Joe said the other day, he said, why don't you just go back? People won't really care. And it seems people haven't cared, and I am loving having it back. A bit of a struggle at the moment because we've got to get 11 points out of these first 5 games, which, spoiler alert for the first one, after we lost the first game, we have to win all 4 games. But if you will go to the channel in a week's time and Portsmouth's still there, it's a bit of a spoiler alert because we'd have won all 4 games. And hopefully we can do. Tomorrow's episode is another good one out at 6 p.m. But yeah, happy to have it back on the channel. And that's about all the time I'll take because, of course, this podcast's never about me, is it?
Never, ever. Rivlud certainly enjoyed watching Portsmouth. I remember that well, and I'm sure he's happy that it's back. Anyway, shall we get on with the topics for today? By the way, have you seen that the beat last month target is a penny now? Because there was no donations last month, so only need a penny to beat last month.
You're skint now.
Skint. No, well, luckily Patreon keeps me income at November rates for YouTube, so which is good. But anyway, obviously over the bank holiday weekend, the thing that I think a lot of people were talking about was the World Snooker Final, and I was quite surprised by how many people seem to actually be tuned into it. It certainly seems to be that more people are enjoying snooker, at least the coverage of it. Especially the World Championships. I don't think there's much difference with the other tournaments, but certainly on Twitter I've seen a lot more activity about people talking about snooker. And Sunday and Monday we had the World Championship final between John Higgins and Mark Williams. Obviously, before last night there was 6 world titles between them over a 25-year career, so not too bad at all. And I don't know, it was just one of the best matches that I've seen in a long time. There was so many twists and turns. I don't know What's snooker? They mentioned it on the Tuffers and Vaughan show. That's cool. So Toby, I don't know how much of it you watched. Did you just watch yesterday's session, or did you?
Yeah, it was just yesterday I watched, really. I didn't particularly watch much on Sunday, but I kind of gathered that Williams was pulling away a bit, and obviously on yesterday's session, Williams started to pull away a bit, and I think was it 14-7 at one point?
Yeah.
And I remember messaging you thinking it's going to take a lot for Higgins to come back into this. Obviously, at the 35, Williams only needed 4 more frames, whereas obviously Higgins would need 11 to come back and win it. And he did a fantastic job. Credit to Higgins, really. And as you've said many times about the 2010 final, was it?
Yeah, 2010 final, yeah. Williams was 9-4 ahead, and John Higgins needed a snooker in that frame, so Williams had already won. And then Higgins came back to win 10-9, but he's done it so many times over the years, John Higgins, and he'll continue to do it. I think this defeat will hurt him a lot. I know last year's final, which he lost in, Higgins was leading, and I know Selby came back and won that, and that hit him hard. So I can imagine this year's probably going to hit him harder, because he got back to 15 all last night, and then Mark Williams just seemed to pull away again. He sort of weathered the storm, didn't he? I think Higgins missed probably his first big chance of the night in frame 31, and I think that might have been the turning point, because Higgins was just coming back at him every frame. Williams was going 40-50 ahead, and Higgins was coming back and just clearing them up. And I mean, that was exemplified when Williams missed the pink when he was 17-15 up. I think you messaged me saying, "Oh, it's all over now," and I said, "Don't count Higgins out just yet." And then all of a sudden, Mark Williams misses the pink. Higgins comes to the table, pots an unbelievable red into the middle, and you just can't imagine what the pressure's like. You know, you've got millions of people around the world watching. He knows that if he misses one shot, that's it. That's the end of his championship, end of his season. And it was just one of the most unbelievable clearances I've watched. And then Mark Williams, the very next frame, he just comes out. He doesn't let anything faze him. He probably knew in his mind that he had another sort of 2 chances at it, and managed to just fall over the line in the end. Yeah. But it was very tense watching it. I can't imagine what it was like actually sitting there, especially Higgins in that frame, the 33rd frame, I think it was. And just unbelievable snooker from both players. And a lot of people have been making cases for the greatest world final ever. I mean, I certainly think it's up there. But, yeah. TIJ, how are you, sir? Thumbs up or thumbs down? If your life was to be defined by a YouTube like or dislike ratio, what would it be?
Jesus Christ, what's that got anything to do with snooker? We're getting a bit deep, but I don't know why we're directing all the questions at me. Just repeat the question again.
Right. TIJ, how are you? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Hold on. Let's answer the first question first. Maybe about 75% thumbs up.
That's good. I just sort of played on the fact he said thumbs up or thumbs down. I just basically went off on a tangent. I forgot that you can't see the chat.
Heads down, thumbs up, everyone.
Oh, yes. Yes. And don't be peeking under your arm, and see where
I used to
people
do
are.
that all the time. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Hello, Lewis Jackson. Good to see you. All lady players, questions to you because Joe's hogging the mic. All right, okay.
I know,
Yeah,
that's a real anomaly, isn't it? He never does that. It's
no,
always me who does it, so
it
it's
is, to be
nice to
fair. It is.
see a bit of a
I
change.
mean, it's just, F1's probably something we're both passionate about. I feel like snooker's my passion, so I can probably
Yeah,
talk about it a little bit more. But
yeah, I think that's fair enough.
if it was Rory McIlroy PGA Tour, then I'm sure you would go off on one. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True.
why can't you see the chat? Well, he's doing YouTuber stuff, so he can't.
I'm just rendering a video basically, and the editor I use has a bit of a fit if I go off that window, so I have to stay on that window. But it's got about 5 minutes left, so I can see the chat in about 5 minutes. But it's going particularly slowly now. It's only a 21-minute video, and it's going to take 40 minutes. It doesn't usually take this long at all. I don't know why it's taking so long, but oh well. But yeah, but it was just a great final. I completely agree. You could see that the pressure not necessarily got to them, but as soon as Williams had won, they couldn't pot anything, could they? After he'd won, it was just like the pressure had gone, and it was just don't care anymore. But it was a great final. I can't really say whether it's up there 'cause it's the only one I've watched, so it was technically the best and the worst final I've ever watched. But it was good. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed watching the whole thing. To be honest, it was all really good, and it's something that whilst I won't watch all of it, and get really into it, I'll probably watch the World Championships next year. Just simply in the fact that it's one of them that I don't think it's covered in terms of every single tournament, and B, sometimes you just haven't got the time to watch it. I mean, they're long games, aren't they? At the end of the day.
But yeah, the World Championships are. I mean, all snooker used to be fairly long, but they tend to have quite short matches now, where matches are done in one session. The World Championships is special now because they've kept the format the same. But no, BBC cover 4 tournaments a year. One of them on BBC Wales, and Eurosport cover all of them. So but to be honest, Eurosport's coverage is very meh, in my opinion. I think they've got pretty boring commentators. They've got good pundits, I think. How they have Steve Davis and John Parrott.
Yeah.
They've got Ronnie O'Sullivan, Jimmy White, and they had Mark Selby this year. So they've got big names, but I don't think they can't cover stuff as well as the BBC, and I think that's the same with most sports. Sky can't cover F1 as good as Channel 4/BBC. I mean, the golf was always better on BBC, in my opinion. So, Rivlud need to get better internet. Who needs to get better internet? So I don't think it's the internet that's the issue.
No, it's not the
rendering.
internet. No, it's not the internet.
No. Yeah. Commentators on snooker who aren't grippingly exciting. I'm shocked.
Cheeky swan.
I mean, to be fair, I think the snooker commentators on the BBC are very good.
Yeah.
Virgo and Hendry were all right last night. I think Dennis Taylor and John Virgo are my favourite commentators, I've got to say. But next you'll be telling me golf commentators being too noisy. Yeah, golf commentators are a bit boring. I think that.
He's missed it.
Old Lady Plays relates to your rendering issues, by the way. So
yeah,
there you go. Rivlud asks, how are the studies? So, Toby, how are your studies going? Obviously, you've got exams this month, and
yeah,
how's that
they're going well. I had one of my exams last week. It was all week. It was not literally like that. But it was a 10-hour exam.
He was locked in a room and only allowed out for Tuesday Night Live. So
exactly. I mean, that was a privilege I had to ask for. Unbelievable. But that's all I got let out for. No, in all seriousness, that went well. I've got a history exam a week tomorrow. I've got a business exam a week on Friday. And then basically I've got 4 exams, and they are finished a fortnight this Friday. So after that, I can chill a bit, and whilst I'm still going to be at school till the middle of July, I can sort of focus on YouTube, really. Mm-hmm. But yourself?
Yeah, that's fine, really. Got
So descriptive.
the last the last week of proper lectures this week, and then it's revision week next week. Which, contrary to popular belief, that isn't us just sitting in the library and doing work. It's actually lectures, but the lecturers will go through past papers and stuff, which there isn't many of at uni. So if you're still at school or sixth form, take advantage of the fact you've got a lot of past papers to go at. Or not necessarily this year, because it's all new spec, isn't it? But my exams start on the 24th of May, so 2 weeks Thursday. And then I'm done for 4 months on the 7th of June, so, you know, that's always nice. Not back till October from then, which is very, very nice. But yeah, hopefully it'll all be good. First year of college almost done. Well, if he was going to college, Rivlud, then yeah, but he's at sixth form. I know, it used to annoy me when I was at sixth form, people call it college. I don't know how it affects you, but...
Yeah, it is a bit annoying, but, you know, you shrug it off a little bit, I guess. It's not much of a contentious issue. It's not exactly something we can go on about for 20 minutes.
No.
I suppose it's one of them things in life, but, yeah. But I think we're trying to dragging this out a bit now. Should we just get on to Designated Survivor? Let's push this discussion forward. I watched... Well, let's start with the basics first. It's a Netflix show about, it's got Kiefer Sutherland in it, who starred in 24, the longest and most boring series ever. I'm waiting to spark a reaction.
Even though TIJ has never watched it, but, you know.
Yeah, that's actually true. I'm not going to lie about that. And basically, the Designated Survivor, is who the president picks to be the person who's in charge if they, you know, die or whatever happens. It turns out that everyone pops their clogs, to be pleasant, and he ends up being the president. But not to go into too many details, but I particularly enjoyed it because it's just... I started watching it, I think, maybe September, October this year, and the first season was already done. It was 23 episodes, and it was really like a binge watch because it was every episode, and they do this a lot on the Netflix originals. They are quite, you know, cliffhanger type. You know, they leave you wanting to watch the next episode, and that's a really good thing with the series. And yeah, it's been really good, and I'd recommend to watch it. And as I did to Joe, because I know that he's watched 24 with Kiefer as well, and you seem to really enjoy it as well. And if we both enjoy something together, then it clearly can't be that bad.
Yeah, no, I think it's excellent actually. So yeah, if as you said, a designated survivor it's actually there's always a designated survivor when the president and vice president are together. And there's a possibility that both of them could be wiped out for whatever reason. That there actually has been real life designated survivors, which so it's something I never heard of. So it was quite a cool topic to get into, and I thought it was really, really well done. You know, you could say it was a bit far-fetched how it all happened, but as you say, the episodes always end on a cliffhanger, and it's very much like 24. It's very fast-paced. You know, and you have to watch the next episode kind of thing. And, you know, if season 1 came to an end, we won't spoil any of it if any of you guys want to watch it. But my big worry was, what are they going to do for season 2? But so far, I think they've done a good job of it. And, you know, it's certainly something that I'd like to watch a lot more of. Rivlo, don't watch any Netflix. Might watch some of the anime. If you fancy Designated Survivor, it's definitely a good watch.
Yeah, much better than the anime I tried.
45 minutes an episode or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And some brilliant cast members in it. You know, we've touched on Kiefer, who I think is excellent, but then you know, I think
the press officer is in it, who he actually used to work in the White House, which is quite a cool.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Okay.
But there's I wouldn't say there's any big star actors in it. Michael J. Fox is making a few guest appearances in the end of the second season. He's doing a really good job in those. But I don't think it has to be big name actors to make it good. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely not. No, but I think there's a chemistry between them, and like I don't know. You get immersed in it almost, and feel like Kiefer Sutherland is actually the president. I was talking to you about how he's going on tour in England, and we were talking about, oh well, you know, if you went and got a photo with the president of the United States and all that, and, you know, all jokes aside, it is very immersive, and it just feels real, really. I don't know what else to say, and it gives you a good sort of idea of what might go on in the White House, and the things that happen on a daily basis, and corruption and all of that, and you know, generally President Kirkman, who is Kiefer, always wants to do the right thing, and sometimes can't necessarily because of politics, and I just find that really interesting. Greg Robinson recommends Peaky Blinders, Happy Valley. I've actually seen Happy Valley. That is good. Line of Duty, which is quite a popular show over here.
So what I used to, the one who, the guy who wrote it actually used to go to my school in Cannock.
What, Designated Survivor?
No.
Happy Valley.
Sorry, it was either wrote it or directed it. Jed Mercurio. Don't know. Line of Duty. I'm talking about.
Oh, Line of Duty. Okay.
Lived in Cannock. Let me know. I don't know if the guy who said that knows, but he either directed it or wrote it. Can't remember.
Yeah, Greg is saying that he's not a fan of political stuff, and you know, I'm not usually.
No,
I feel like it's less about the politics. I think we're probably doing it a disjustice by saying it is politics, but there's basically two main storylines to it. There's the presidency, which is obviously chaotic because they've just lost the government and some nobody has been thrown into the job. And then you've got the other side of it, which is the investigation into how the government was lost, and, you know, the FBI side of it. And it is very much a parallel story, and you know, you'll see them link up eventually. And yeah, I don't know. It's not necessarily all political. It's just really action packed, to be honest with you. It's really, really good, and I really enjoy it, and I don't think I could do without it if it's cancelled. So yeah. Oh, hey, we've got TIJ in the chat. Do you have Occupied on your Netflix? It's a Norwegian show about the Russians doing a soft invasion of Norway.
Yeah, it's on here. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on. Do you recommend that one? Is it? I might say it's stupid. Is it? I'm guessing it's in English, but seeing as it's a Norwegian show, I don't fancy watching.
Might be subtitles. I don't know.
Oh God, no, I can't.
A bit like what's it called?
Narcos, isn't it?
Oh, is that in subtitles? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not watching that then. I did add it to my watch list, but yeah.
I've got loads on my watch list. I've also got Unforgotten, which was on the BBC, and that's meant to be quite good. But back to Designated Survivor. It's just one of them that it's not necessarily probably what you think. It's not them all sat in a boardroom or the Congress or whatever making decisions. It's very dynamic. It's quite different every episode, but there's 3 or 4 storylines that run through it. And out of the Netflix originals, I think it's definitely the best one that's there. But it seems to be doing quite well. The people that have watched it enjoy it. It's just the fact that it's not doing particularly well in America on ABC. So whether perhaps Netflix will take it as a show of their own, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I've quite enjoyed it, and if I can enjoy something and enjoy it.
No, I think the thing is, I think what will put a lot of people off is not necessarily. I think the reason why it's not doing well is because not that many people have given it a chance. I think once you give it a chance, a lot of people fall in love with it, which is why I think the people that do watch it will be massive sort of fans of it, if you get me.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I think if it does well on Netflix, then that's probably a good enough reason to keep making it, because I think that's the new sort of benchmark, isn't it? If it does well on
Yeah.
Netflix, then that's probably job done. Because people don't generally sit and watch the television on, at least live. When it
Right.
comes on, people record it or watch it on catch up or watch it on Netflix. I don't think that many people actually sit down and watch stuff when it comes out now. Maybe that's our fault for being YouTubers and the whole YouTube age.
Potentially, but it's just, yeah, I suppose that's one thing, but it's tricky because with TV you have got that option now, so you just think, well, you make your own schedule. You don't, you don't have to sit down and watch stuff, but then you always have the issue with sort of, what's the word now? Spoilers. If you watch it.
Yeah, that is a big thing. Obviously, you had a lot of season 2 spoiled for you, didn't you? By sort of searching whether it had got cancelled or whatever.
Yeah.
So
only the one spoiler, but in the end, I wasn't too fussed. But it is a bit annoying. But I mean, I'm not like many people. I don't find the time to binge watch stuff. I don't like to, and there's a lot of things, a lot of films, a lot of TV shows. I find myself sort of watching 5-10 minutes and then turning it off because I'm not captivated. But with Designated Survivor, it sort of went soon as, and I thought, oh, this is really good. But I don't watch Game of Thrones. I don't want to sound really like I'm pushing away the idea, but I'm not a fan of fantasy stuff and all that, and stuff that's too over dramatic. I don't want to say it's over dramatic, but too much special effects. I quite like to watch just average stuff and like stuff on BBC and that, that sort of thing. And because I feel like that's
stuff on National Geographic Channel.
maybe Sky Sports Golf, but not National Geographic. Cheeky sod. Peaky, but yeah, we've read that one. It's about the cat. Amazingly, Rivlud, it is. I mean, yeah, it's alright, but yeah, we've good evening to Aaron. Just trying to think what else there is. Have you watched anything else? You've watched Homeland.
Homeland, yeah, I would highly recommend to anybody. At least the first 2 seasons of Homeland. I've been watching season 3 on and off, really.
Yeah.
But season 1 and 2, I was very unhealthily staying up till 3-4 in the night because I couldn't stop watching it. And it was the same with Designated Survivor. I was watching 4 or 5 episodes a night, just because I needed to find out what happened next.
Yeah.
Oh, we know why you watch the Nat Geo TIJ. Do we? She knows something we don't.
Yeah, I feel like she does, yeah.
Rivlud's not amused by the sarcasm.
Best type of humour, Blood. Bring it out there now.
No, Homeland is very good. It's people might be aware of Damian Lewis. He obviously, I wouldn't say he got fame from Homeland, but it certainly helped his career a lot.
Yeah.
So it's basically about an American prisoner of war. They thought he was dead. He was 8 years a prisoner, and they found him. And there's this CIA agent who thinks he's a terrorist, basically, a turned terrorist, because one of her contacts had told her as his on his deathbed that an American prisoner of war had been turned. So there's lots of sort of ups and downs, and initially you think, oh yes, he's a terrorist, and then it's like a pendulum, basically. But it's very, very good, and I would highly recommend it. There's only 12 episodes a season as well, so it's quite a manageable series to watch.
Yeah.
Rivlud has heard of Homeland. Not my thing, unfortunately. Well, that's fair enough. I mean, I think that's the thing with TV. People watch what they're into. And it's the same with films and games. Pretty much everything that you do individually is down to what you're into, really. I'm not into sort of fantasy stuff either. That's why I don't watch Game of Thrones, and that's why I don't play God of War, for instance. So yeah. Rivload just depends on how you use it. I don't know what that's referring to, but
No.
yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say?
I've been watching quite a few Louis Theroux documentaries the last few days. I've really enjoyed those. I watched the one about Jimmy Savile because Theroux actually had quite a good relationship with Savile. It was quite interesting to go back and because he watched some like the archive footage and said, looked at that sort of stuff. That was a bit of a dark one. Then he was looking at, like the prison ones, and they're all quite good because they're only like 50, 60 minutes, and they're all quite informative, and it feels like, they're quite fast-paced, and they're not boring at the same time. They're all quite genuine. They're all quite generally interesting. They're a little bit like, is it Trevor McDonald?
Yeah.
His Brown Places.
They're excellent, I think, the Trevor McDonald ones.
Yeah. Just looking on Netflix, I don't think there's really much I've watched recently. I did watch that a while ago. It's been added to Netflix. Money Monster. It's just a film with George Clooney. It's really good. An hour and 38. So again, not the longest of films. So maybe that's one that you can watch now. One that I watched a while ago and I definitely recommend is Hacksaw Ridge. And that's one of the best films I've watched for a long time. That's also on Netflix. Just trying to have a look now. Let's pose a question to everyone in the chat, including Mr. Hannard, the host. What is your favourite TV series of all time?
You know what? I'm just going to say it because it is 24, 100%. I don't know. It's something that, over such a long period of time, sort of kept coming up with new ideas, and I don't know, it was just very innovative at the time. And, I rewatched all of them again a couple of summers ago, and it's just excellent, I think. And anybody that gets a chance to at least watch maybe the first season or something, give it a go, because it is very, very good, and it's popular for a reason at the end of the day. Schindler's List is the best, according to Greg. Oh, Friends is his. I didn't expect that. From what Greg said in the chat before, I didn't expect his favourite TV show to be Friends. I don't know why. But a lot of people like Friends. But I've heard a lot of people who have went back and watched Friends have been like, well, what on earth why did I enjoy this so much? Because maybe the humour sort of changed a lot since, then.
Yeah.
By the way, Aaron said, do any of you play Call of Duty? I have played every single one of the Call of Duties. I don't know about you, Toby.
I played up until Modern Warfare. I never played them religiously. I never really played through the campaign, but I played them casually maybe up until Modern Warfare 3. Then after that, I haven't played at all. But unfortunately, my sister took them. We had from World of War up to Modern Warfare 3. We had them on Xbox 360. And she took them up to university where she lives, and they got pinched, which was really sad because A, they're worth quite a bit now, and B, it'd be nice to go back and play them, but it's not something that I'll probably spend £5 or £10 a game to buy again and play, because I wasn't that bothered about it. But yeah, I have.
You can just watch it on. Oh, I shouldn't say that actually, but yeah.
Get it!
Spoiler alert!
Yes, Rifflord, you've got it now. Yes, get it. That's what he's playing after LA Noir. I didn't know that.
Well, no, I'm not necessarily playing it after LA Noir.
Yeah.
I actually think I'm playing a different game after LA Noir, but maybe after Splinter Cell, which has already happened, But,
it's lovely some content creator just thinks and, isn't quite sure. In terms of TV series for me, I'm very old-fashioned when it comes to TV series, and I very much doubt many of you would have watched these series, but let's give it to Joe. Let's see if Joe can name the 2, 3. I think it's 3. Yeah. Can you name the 3 that are my favourite?
Dinner Ladies.
1.
TV shows, are we saying here?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've even got a coaster with one of them on. That's how sad I am.
I might need a clue for the other two.
Oh. One was broadcast on the BBC 1975 and 1979.
What, there was only two?
2 series.
Oh dear.
6 episodes each.
Faulty Towers? I don't know.
Hey! Good man. Right, now that's 2 out of 3. You've got to get the last one. The last one, I've been to see the show live twice.
Monty Python?
No.
Okay.
Crap Monty Python was, in my opinion. The best thing that came out of that was always look on the bright side of life. I'll just give you it. Let's smooth the coaster. Hold on, let's see if he's actually showing the camera.
Oh, Mrs. Brown.
Yeah, Mrs. Brown.
I do enjoy Mrs. Brown, actually. I really do.
It did go off after like the 3 series, but the 3 regular series themselves, which actually, I've got Mrs. Brown's big box on Blu-ray.
I said pardon.
The full 3 series. Interpret it how you want, Joe. You know, it's just a large set of DVDs, Blu-rays actually. But yeah, that's one of the rare things I've got on Blu-ray.
I mean, I've got some classics down here. Now, in the chat, let me know if you like any of these.
I dread to think what's going to be here now. Gone with the Wind. You didn't hear. You didn't hear that.
I did hear it.
Oh, damn.
Diagnosis Murder is one of the I've got the first 3 seasons on DVD, and this is just fantastic. T.J. Hooker with William Shatner in his police show, and it is absolutely fantastic. Anybody remember those? Knight Rider wasn't too far off Rivlud. But yeah, I mean, this has a case of being one of my favourite TV shows, actually, Diagnosis Murder. But no, I don't know. How would you feel about maybe having a 5-10 minute Q&A just to fill up until about 8:45, and then we'll we'll finish off. That Call of Duty question whetted my appetite for a Q&A. So if anybody has got any questions for me or Toby or both of us,
preferably us.
Yeah, let us know down in the chat, and we'll probably talk until about 8:45, and then we'll finish off. A little bit of a shorter one tonight. Not a lot has happened in the world of sport, but next week I think we'll be having a look back on the 2017-18 Premier League season. And is it the F1 this weekend?
It is this weekend, yeah. So we've got a busy one next week. We just didn't want to cram it with stuff that is a bit of a non-story, really. I mean, we could have talked about Steven Gerrard as Ranger man.
We could have, yeah.
But it just doesn't seem really there's much there.
There's nothing to go off, you know. Gerrard's never managed before,
exactly,
so you know, it's good luck to him, is what I say. We have a dislike. What kind of... Just anything you like.
Anything.
Anything. We are quite happy to answer anything, as long as it's...
And if we don't know answer it, we'll just ignore you.
Yeah. We'll remove the comment with our moderator abilities.
Hey!
F1 Spanish Grand Prix.
Aye.
Is that a question? Were you emotional about Wenger leaving? A little bit. I watched his goodbye speech, and there's just a little moment at the end when he's like, hopefully see you soon, bye-bye, and I just thought, oh, bless him, kind of thing. And apparently he's had loads of offers for managerial positions, so...
Where, Ipswich?
I reckon PSG, personally, but...
Probably, yeah.
What other news is
other
there?
News.
Thanks, I guess. I don't
know. Let's ignore that. Aaron Hudson, random question, but if there's one thing that motivates you, what is it and why? Start with you.
I mean, all right, okay. I thought he just tagged you in it. What were your thoughts about Wenger leaving? By the way, were you emotional?
I'm a bit gutted because I love Wenger. And it's a sad moment. I didn't watch the speech or anything, and I feel that Arsenal will do worse next year, and I hope they do, because it would kind of taint Wenger's legacy if they went and battered everyone and won the league next year now. But maybe more on that when we have like a season preview. But it's a bit sad about Wenger leaving, but it was going to happen at some point.
Right, so one thing that motivates me, well, it depends really.
Is this just for YouTube or life in general?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do YouTube first, and then well, why don't we do YouTube first and then life after? So YouTube, what motivates me is I think generally with games, and not all games, but generally with games, you enjoy them a lot more when you do a YouTube series on them. I don't know why it is. I don't know whether it's just because you're sharing the experience with somebody else. Football Manager is the biggest sort of example of that. For me, I enjoy it a lot more when I'm playing it with you guys on YouTube. And what also is a motivating factor is sort of seeing people enjoy it. I think it is highly demotivating if you've worked hard on a video and nobody watches it, or it gets a load of dislikes, or it doesn't do as well as you wanted it to. But what motivates you to do more stuff on YouTube is seeing that people enjoy it, and that's why I ask for likes on every video, because that is what motivates me to do more. An example is the AO tennis stuff recently on the channel has been doing brilliantly, and that's motivated me to get the game out and play some more of it. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
What, in terms of YouTube in general?
Yeah, doing YouTube.
It's become a bit of a... It's been part of my life for a long time. In and out, I've done it since I was 11, unbelievably. And I think I've come a long way since then, but it's always been a part of my life, and I've never really had a life without it. So I guess if we talk about motivation, it's to do something worthwhile with my time. I feel like just sitting there playing games, which I would do otherwise, isn't really a use of my time that's good. And I feel that YouTube channels that energy into something more, a creation, a production, a video, and now something that you guys enjoy. That's the most important thing. And we might just say that. You might think, oh, you just say that. But genuinely, it is. The comments coming in and you guys enjoying it. At the end of the day, we wouldn't do it without people watching it. It's to, again, just show myself something that I've done something and been productive. I don't know if there's a third one. Maybe perhaps to, as Joe says, motivate myself to play games and do things that perhaps I wouldn't do otherwise. D, really, it's kind of a business. It's something that there's always decisions to make in terms of series, in terms of video times, in terms of all that sort of stuff. And that's something that we're not going to get too gloaty with Joe, because I rarely pay him a compliment. But that's something that Joe's done very well. He's not going to say exploited, but he's pushed the right games at the right time, and he's done well for it. And I feel like because it's a business, then people should be rewarded for doing things like that, and hopefully one day that we can both treat this as a full-time gig. That's really the dream. It's something that will probably never happen, but you've got to have that at the top of the tree, because
how does it get better than that?
Exactly.
I mean, maybe it gets better if you make YouTube your full-time job and then get offered a job to present a Formula One show and go all around the world to do it, like Matty G, who did a fantastic job with his YouTube channel, deservedly got the gig. I don't think any other F1 YouTubers could do what he's doing in the way that he's doing it. I think he's doing a cracking job over on WTF1, and it's it's trendy, and I think it's really, really good. And I'm really happy for him because, he's just like one of us at the end of the day. That
Yeah.
could quite easily be one of us doing that sort of thing in the future. And if you just look at Kev or, Loki and see how they've turned in sort of 2 years into a business, and I think Loki, we last looked and he's making over $2,000 on Patreon a month, which is just insane. That's more money than a lot of full-time jobs out there, which is crazy. But no, I don't think there's any need to talk about what motivations are in life. I don't know about you, but what was did he say? I don't think he said whether it was about YouTube, but my motivation in life is just to be happy, really. It sounds soppy, but I do. That's why I want to be a maths teacher. I want to do something that I'll enjoy doing rather than, maybe using my maths degree to go and earn loads of money abroad somewhere, because I wouldn't enjoy that. And I just want to do something I enjoy. So, yeah, that's the motivation for me. Don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I agree with you, to be honest. Not obviously in terms of the maths, but let's not talk about that. But I feel like I haven't got to the point where I want to know what to do yet, and it's a bit worrying. And we don't need to get too deep. But as you say, I think the goal in life has to just be happy, content, and
make the most of it.
Anything more than that is a bonus.
Yeah.
If we look at business studies and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You've got your security needs, which is really at the bottom, above your physiological needs, and that's the likes of pay and all that sort of stuff. But anything above that, in terms of social needs, enjoying life, I think, is a big one, because I personally don't think, and I'll be straight, I don't enjoy my life to the full. There are a lot of people who don't enjoy their life, and that's something that I feel is a real shame, because you've only got one life. So
exactly, yeah. And, some of us are probably over a quarter into our life, and that's pretty scary.
Let's not get too let's not say the end is nigh just yet.
It's not. But, no, I agree with you. I'm not really maximising my life at the moment. And
Well, I feel like this and YouTube is generally the most fun thing I do, and it's it's something to look forward to, and again, it's just something exciting, and genuinely the buzz you get when you get a big video, when you get some of us a little more than a quarter. I can't remember what I was going to say. It's kind of a hobby, and when you've got new ideas, you just want to run home and do them. A bit like when you went out for that meal and cricket captain went out, and you're like, oh, sorry, gotta go.
Yeah.
But that just shows a bit of ambition, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. And put it this way, I think I speak for both of us. Expect us to be around for a long time, yeah.
Yeah. On YouTube and in life in general.
Hopefully, God, yes, please, in life. Jesus. I don't want to go yet. I've not been able to fump Lewis Hamilton yet.
Right. Okay. That question's done. Now, Aaron has said that YouTube's motivated him to be open about having Asperger's syndrome, whereas previously I would never tell anybody. And I think that's, something that YouTube does. It does to people, and it brings something out from inside them that was never usually there. Like speaking in front of a camera just seems absurd, but like 3 years ago, but doing it now, it's just second nature, and that's the sort of thing it does, and it's a great thing to do. Anyway, Rivlud, what are your clues? What are your thoughts? Sorry, on the F1 season so far. He remembers me especially saying that Hamilton and Mercedes win easy. I mean, my response to that is we're only four races in, so I still think Hamilton and Mercedes will win it. I think they've just got to, they could have won 3 out of the 4 races so far quite easily. So, yeah, I think it's been excellent actually so far. I feel like we're in for a bit of a drab one this weekend for some reason. I don't really know why. I think qualifying will be good, but the race I think might be a little bit dodgy, but I don't know. We might be proved wrong. I don't know. What's your thoughts on the F1 season so far?
It's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed it, and hopefully it only gets better. I feel like Mercedes will outdevelop over the season, but yeah, it should be a great one. It's something we'll talk about more at length, and I think maybe after Monaco we'll sort of know what the crack is and all that. But
definitely. Rivlud said a lot of nice things about my channel. I didn't specify it was open to you. All right, okay. He didn't specify about whether it was YouTube or life in general, the motivation one.
Right.
Yeah, I get it now. So that's a little more than a quarter. What are your long-term plans besides teaching? Well, I guess that's a question to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, really. The next couple of years are going to be massive because, obviously, there's me and Rachel, and we live quite a considerable distance apart, and at one stage we're going to have to bite the bullet and probably one of us move halfway across the country. So that's a short to medium term thought. Apart from teaching, I don't really have any other other jobs in mind. I'd love to give YouTube a real good go. At one point, I'm not really in that position, or anywhere near that position yet, but if it was to happen in the next 2-3 years, then I probably would give it a good go. I don't know how far I'd get. I don't even know if YouTube will be that big in 2-3 years, but I've always quite fancied being a bus driver. That's always been my sort of joke answer to what would you do if you had to drop out of uni for whatever reason? Well, I've worked out that I can apply to my local bus firm in November this year. So if all else fails, then maybe that. But apart from that, not a lot. Obviously, I'll have a maths degree, so I'll be fairly qualified to do quite a lot of things. So we'll see. But I don't know. What are your long-term plans, Toby?
Absolutely no idea. I would quite like, as an end goal, to be self-employed. But that's just a loose plan at the moment. But apart from that, I'm not sure yet. And life's a long road, so there's a lot of time to make decisions. But just a quick thing. Without either of us doing YouTube, I wouldn't have met this chap. I wouldn't have spoke to this chap. And there's a lot. Seriously, there are 50 to 100 people who I have met now because of YouTube, and that's just.
Yeah, I've met about 6. But,
Still haven't met Paul yet. That would be something I'd quite like to do.
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean in person? Or
yeah.
Okay. No. Well, I've met you. I've met Kev. I guess you could say I met people at the NVA. I'm not really counting that though.
Nah.
But no, and it's the whole butterfly effect thing, isn't it? That one small little decision can change the outcome of the rest of your life, and I'm not going to get into it, but it, kind of how me and Rachel met was a bit like that. But no, definitely. I mean, if I didn't do that F1 quiz with you, then who knows what our relationship would be like. If you hadn't found my Cricket Captain stuff, I think I was already subscribed to you because you went on Alex Zaffro's channel or something like that, talk about one of the teams in a team preview. But I will be streaming tomorrow, by the way, for anybody wondering, because OLP had to run off. Good evening to Robert. How are you doing? What time am I streaming? 8 p.m. Tomorrow night. Philosophical all of a sudden.
Well, you asked for it. But I feel like we probably need to call it a day unless we get too philosophical.
Yeah, it's about 9 o'clock now. I hope all goes well with your relationship. What, my relationship with Toby or with Rachel?
Hopefully both.
Meet me someday. I mean, if we're in the same place at the same time, then perhaps
You'll run away.
He needs that autograph. I mean, to be fair, Rivlin, I could sign one of them business cards and send it to you. You know, nobody's asked for a business card yet, so not even Toby.
You can send one if you want.
I like you, TIJ. You're okay. Apparently, Toby. There you go. A bit of a backhanded compliment there. You know. But no, that is where we're going to leave it tonight. A little bit of a weird and wonderful one. It has to be said. But maybe just maybe we'll do more Q&A type stuff in the future. I don't know about you, but I quite enjoyed that. So thank you very much for coming along. I know that it has been a weird one, and I appreciate you all coming along. 11 episodes strong now. As Toby said at the start of the stream, here's to another 11. And only 11. But we will be back again next Thursday. As Toby said before, we won't be here on Monday. And next Thursday, we'll probably be looking at the F1 race this weekend, and also the Premier League season, because we'll know exactly what's happened by next week. Now, Toby's gone AWOL, so that's just the way it goes. Rivlud says, more YouTube topics, please, or live topics. I'm enjoying the podcast. Well, that's brilliant. If you're enjoying the podcast, then hopefully you'll enjoy every podcast, because we do talk about similar things every week, really. And this one, a bit weird, but that's fine. What about Monday? I don't know what's going on. But no, we'll be back next Thursday, and I'll be back tomorrow night for the third episode of my Championship to Champions League playthrough with Sheffield Wednesday. So hopefully that'll go well tomorrow, and hopefully we can get a few victories. You got anything else to say, Toby?
It's been a good one. It's been a very bizarre one, but yeah, it's been good at the same time. But thank you all for watching, and I'll let you sign out.
Yeah. Well, he said the thank you very much for watching, so all I'll say is goodbye.
Goodbye.